Welcome in, everybody, for the good of all Cree.
For the good of all Cree.
What's up, everyone? Welcome in to another episode of the Disney Movie Review. Dan, this is 4 in a row for us. I mean, that's
4 weeks in a row, dude.
That's unbelievable. And I'm thinking we hopefully will have 5 next week, too. This is great. This Wednesday at 5 o'clock has really worked out really well for us, I think.
It really has.
Yep, it really has. Well, what's going on, man? How are you?
Yeah, doing really well. Like, it's been, you know what, the first time in a long time I've done like 2 shows in a week. I did obviously Saturday for my ranking of all the Disney attractions, aka Attack of the Moth. I kid you not, that moth went straight away. If you guys don't know, for those who are in the chat who don't know me, hello. But also on Saturday on my channel, when Walt was with me, I got attacked by 2 moths, and
it's the Mothman prophecy.
The moth. The great way to start. But yeah, I had a stream on Saturday. It was a really good show, and we're doing Disney movie review once again. So,
Rolling Stone gathers no moth.
Oh, we've already on to a great start. I have closed my windows this evening. So there is no way. It's so hot here, and there's no way a moth is going to ruin this stream.
Yeah.
So. It was like Jurassic Park last week, I kid you not.
Exactly. Well, welcome in, everybody. Dan, I'm glad you're back. We're going to have a fun time. 4 weeks in a row, and really kind of 4 in a row of some really classic movies.
All set around the 50s, really weirdly.
Except Narnia, that wasn't. But I mean,
but the last 3 weeks have been
for
1950s.
Sure.
Animation is really strange.
Well, Jungle Book was 6. Yeah, Jungle Book.
Jungle Book was 67.
Yeah, but it's still 56. Yeah, we're right there.
Yeah.
Well, this week, guys, for those of you, obviously, you've seen the thumbnail already. We are reviewing the 1950 classic Cinderella. But by the end of it, is it a classic for Dan and I? Who knows? We're going to talk about it. For those coming in for the first time, we're going to get into chat in just a second here. Got to say thank you to Dean over at The Live Place, theliveplace.com for family-friendly streams. Dean is the man. He is awesome. He's fantastic. I also want to say Magic of the Mouse Radio is back, guys. So be sure to check out Magic of the Mouse Radio for 24/7 Disney music. We also have 4 partner channels. We have this guy right here, the one and only Disney Dan, who, of course, is live with me on Wednesdays.
Yep.
And sometimes on Saturdays. Be sure to check him out if you haven't already. Steve's World, Diz Our Dream, and Pete McDevitt. They're all amazing. I want to say hello to all of our members in the chat. Members, thank you for your extra generosity and loyalty. You are fantastic. And other than that, I think we're ready to go. Let's say hi to a few people in the chat, though, and then we're going to rock and roll, Dan. We have Mandy Adams, Alex Kennett, and Hannah Waghorn. Good to see you both here, members. Our first member, Cynthia Candy Mom, is here. Cy is in the house. What's up, Cy? She dropped her shoe. Did anybody find her shoe? Samantha Lowe, Debbie Bernfeld members are also here. Kelsey Elizabeth, another member, is here. Alex Kennett, another member. Charlie is here. John Surfum, another member. Christina Loud is here as well, another member. Young Pop Miguel, I love that name. Welcome in. Good to have you here. I think Catherine Wilby is here. JD Kuntz, another member, is here. Donna Jaworski's in the house. Donna Jaworski. Never mind. Anyway, another member. Good to see you, Donna. Glad you're here, dear. Hope you're doing well. Wow, that chat just really jumped. Hold on, Dan.
All our friends are here.
All of them. All 5 of them. Let's see. Who else is here? George Priestley is here. LSU mom Emily is here as well. Emily, good to see you. And Paul Engel, another good friend and also member, is here. All right, guys. Tonight, we are reviewing the one and only Disney movie review for Cinderella. 1950.
Yep.
Now, this movie, just like the last few we've been doing, have a very short running time, 1 hour and 17 minutes. This is not a long movie. They cut right to the chase on this. It does not take long at all. I got to say hi to Will Lovins, another member. Jack Owen is here, and I think we're up to date. So, just like we always do, Dan and I will review the movie. We'll kind of break it down. And after we do that, we'll talk about our favorite parts, our favorite character, and then we'll give our letter grade. And in the end, we're going to have you guys give your letter grades as well and why you give that letter grade. That's a big sticking point for us. We want to hear why you gave it an A or why you gave it a C, not just the letter grade. Tell us why, because we love to hear your opinions.
Yep.
So, Daniel, you ready?
Yeah. Oh, I'm so ready.
All right. So, the one thing I will say, we're going to talk about the inspiration in the parks as well. And
I think we could just say inspiration as a whole, because this film is one of the most iconic movies in history.
I agree. Ian B, another member. Al V is also here, another member. Good to have you guys here. Right off the bat, Dan, let's just say this. This movie has so many signature, classic, unforgettable songs.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
I mean, like all of them. So This Is Love, and Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo. You name it, they're all in this film. I mean, this is the one that really has so many different songs that we all know and love.
Yeah, I agree. I think if you look back at Disney history prior to Cinderella, there was really Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which had a few songs. They had Hi Ho, Hi Ho. It had the song
Hi, David.
with the dwarfs.
Right.
Pinocchio had a few songs with Wish Upon a Star, Bambi. But this movie sort of has got that Disney trait that a movie has to contain all of the iconic songs. It doesn't just have one iconic song. It has lots. And it's kind of just, if you look through Disney history moving forward, you look at things like Little Mermaid, Lion King, especially in that sort of Renaissance period.
Right.
Like, they take that inspiration from Cinderella for adding those iconic songs. And I think Cinderella was one of those pioneer movies that just set music alight in animation.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Alex Kenneth says his wife and him dances "So This Is Love" for their first song in their wedding. That's awesome. I think that's great. I mean, but they do. I mean, they're, whether it's "We can do it, we can do it, we can do it, we can help us Cinderella, we can make your dress so pretty. There's nothing to it really." Anyway, I like to sing. What can I say? There's just so many great songs.
Yeah.
But let's kind of get into this a little bit. By the way, everybody, we do have a sponsor for today's show.
I'm looking forward to
it. Should I do the sponsor now, Daniel, or should we wait?
I think our sponsor would like us to tell everybody about what offer they have for us today.
Okay, so let me get right into the sponsor here. Our sponsor for this week's show is Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash. Need help with your next party or event? Then call the party planners at Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash. Wait, you don't know about Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash? Well, listen to this. You're planning a bash, but short on the cash, call Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash. We'll help with your needs. You'll be happy indeed. Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash. Our service will be just right, but the party must end by midnight. You need someone today. Well, help's on the way. Call Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash. Oh, you're planning a bash, but short on the cash, call Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash. We'll help with your needs. You'll be happy indeed. Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash.
Can I ask, how much did Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash pay you to sing their sponsor?
Oh, they paid us a lot, Daniel. That's why we're here today, because of them. You can reach them at www.bibbidibobbidibash.com today.
We're very lucky to have them this week. So go check them out, Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash.
Cynthia says, thank you, Cynthia, for that. She says $1.99. Well, I need to hire them. Anyway,
we get by the way, guys, we do get a lot of phone calls from all of these sponsorship deals, and we just choose the best. Let's be fair.
Yeah, they are not easy to come by. Let me tell you. But I mean, we get them, but we make sure we pick the cream of the crop.
We definitely take our time choosing it.
Yeah, and I'm sure we'll have a new one next week when we're on Daniel's channel.
Absolutely.
All right, Dan. Let's get right into this. So, of
yes,
course, Cinderella starts. Just like the other ones, it opens with the book, and they're telling the story of her and her dad, because she starts out, it's a single father who's well off. He's got some money. He's got an estate with his daughter that he loves very, very much, and they get along great. And they talk about his love for his daughter, but he feels like his daughter needs a mother figure in her life. Now, remember, Cinderella's probably 6, maybe 5 or 6 years old.
Very young
at this time. She's very young. And that's when the dad decides he needs to marry. And he marries this very proper, good household woman by the name of Lady Tremaine. And we're going to get into her a lot more as we go on. And, on the surface, she seems like a very caring, nice person who has 2 daughters of her own, Anastasia and Drizella, who, by the way, we met over the weekend. And when we were at Magic Kingdom. And Oh, it seems like everything is okay at first, and then unfortunately, tragedy hits, which always happens in a Disney movie. A parent dies again. No kidding. This time, the dad dies. Cinderella's dad dies. So she's kind of now alone. You know, Dan, she's on her own. She's alone, even though Lady Tremaine and the stepsisters are there. This is now that the dad's out of the picture. This is where we get the true nature of who or character of Lady Tremaine. Very, very cruel, very mean, very selfish, cares about nothing but herself and her two daughters, and basically makes Cinderella a servant in her own home.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what she does because she's now in charge. By the way, I got to say hi to Carlos Disney World Freak. Welcome in, buddy. Good to see you. Super Wayne is also here. Another fun stream on this channel. Yes, thank you. We are the fun people here. Carlos, it's a long story. Carlos was calling everybody else fun but us. So I was like, what? This is our dream. Jeff and Angela. I think it's Jeff.
And Angela. Yeah.
Cinderella's here too. Good to see you. But Dan, let's talk a little bit about this. So now she's kind of growing up a little bit. Probably about what, 17, 16 at this point?
17.
Yeah.
She's a maiden because she has to be sort of that right age to be married according to that law that they created.
Right. Mariah Crossley, welcome in as well. But let's kind of talk about this. So now that we've got the backstory, we know her dad's passed away. Lady Tremaine has taken over, kind of made her a servant in her own home. And that's when we now come to present time, and she is in bed. And this is where the story first starts, where the birds come in to wake her up. And you want to talk a little bit about that whole scene of getting that first day started and her.
So Cinderella, we first come to see Cinderella, like I said, just waking up in the morning. Basically, this whole film takes place over 2 days, and which is quite unusual for a lot of films. But this literally just takes over 2 days. So she wakes up in the morning on the first day, and we find out that Cinderella is a mutant. She can speak to animals. And she can communicate with animals. By the way, Carlos, a mutant is from the X-Men. And X-Men is a Marvel. I love that. But anyway, so Cinderella has the sort of, like most princesses in the Disney sort of Disney canon, have sort of that communication with animals. Obviously, Jasmine and Raja and, Ariel and Flounder and Sebastian. So Cinderella has all of these birds and mice, anything that in real life you wouldn't want to get too friendly with, but in an animation they're all very pretty and not full of diseases. So it's true, you wouldn't want to be friends with rats, would you?
No, I wouldn't. See you, Tiger. Welcome in. I wouldn't call them rats. Those are mice. They're different.
Okay, I'm sorry. Would you get friends with mice?
Yes, actually I would. Not all. Sure, people have mice as pets.
So we have Cinderella, who's been woken up by these birds who, open up the curtains and they sort of have a little sort of trying to wake Cinderella up. The mice are there. They're all there trying to, she's trying to think of what life would sort of be like. Her perfect life, finding a prince and all that kind of stuff, living in that happily ever after. She'd start singing, "A dream is a wish your heart makes." And this is kind of like the song that is played throughout the movie.
Dreaming is all about
hummed.
Dreaming is all. That's the one because she even talks about that. She talks about they can take everything away, but what they can't take away is my dreams. And it's all about hope. It's about not giving up. It's always having that hope that you can move on. But Dan's right. Basically, what this beginning part is it's showing us what her everyday life is like. Getting up, feeding Lucifer the cat, feeding the animals, washing the dishes, getting the day ready. It's kind of her only really, even though it's first thing in the morning and she's working, it's her only real time to herself, her quiet time to be with her and the animals. For me, that's how I took that too. Before what breaks loose.
Yeah,
in the
absolutely.
house.
She finds out that there's from her mice friends that there's another mice that has been caught in a mouse trap. And I completely forgot about this part in the movie. And she goes and rescues this mouse who looks absolutely terrified. He's like clinging to the walls, like, don't touch me, don't touch me, don't touch me. But it happens to be Gus. And she has a little sort of t-shirt that goes over him, which is far too small for him because he's a bit round. And Gus and Jack become best friends, basically.
Now, let me ask you this. Trivia question. She actually said Gus is his nickname. She actually names him something else. Does anybody in the chat know what she names him? She says, we'll name you such and such. And then she says, but we'll call you Gus for short.
Gustav. No.
They do say it in the movie. And I think it is, Alex. I think it's Octavius or Octavian. Something like that. I don't know. I know. I tried to go back. I didn't have time to go back, but they do. It's something along those. No, it's not
Augustus. Augustus.
Was it Augustus? See, I don't think Augustus. So. I think Alex is right. Somebody can go back. It's very early in the movie. It's when. It's when
Augustus has Gus in it.
No, but I know, but it's not Augustus.
It could be Octavian, because this is me going all ancient history. Octavian and Augustus are actually the same person, but the name of Augustus was
Octavius. I think it's
played.
Right. I think it's not. I think it's Octavius. Anyway, if anybody can go on Disney Plus and very quickly, it's like in the first 10 minutes, it's right there. But yeah, it's Octavius, as she called him, Gus for short. Although that makes no sense. Cinderella should
have just called him Doc Ock. To be fair.
Yeah. But at this point, she's now, Gus is now there. We've been introduced to the mice. Hey, Michael Disney Dad, welcome in. And this is where her day starts. She starts,
the bells.
The bells start ringing, and everybody's like, Cinderella! And everybody's calling her. And first, I think she goes into Anastasia's room first, and Anastasia says, Cinderella, do this, do that, do this for me. Press this, wash this. Sew this, whatever. And then she goes into Drizella's room, same thing. And then she comes into Lady Tremaine's room. And Lady Tremaine is much more reserved. She's one of those, she reminds me of Mother Gothel. I think Mother Gothel reminds me of Lady Tremaine.
Yeah.
She comes across nice, so to speak, but she's really being mean and underhanded.
Well, we firstly meet sort of Lady Tremaine's partner in crime, which is ironically named Lucifer.
Yes.
And Lucifer is the cat, a very conniving cat. And when Cinderella, doing the right thing, feeding Lucifer milk, anything that Lucifer tries to do, it gets ruined. So Cinderella starts feeding all the animals, start feeding Bruno the dog, the horses, the birds, and the mice just want to have some breakfast as well. But the problem is they've got to get by Lucifer to get to the food.
Yeah.
And I really love the scene where they're drawing straws, but instead of that, they're using their tails.
Yeah, so everybody turns around and puts their tails up in the air, and then Jack has to go and picks one.
It's very funny.
And
he picks his own tail.
He picks his own tail.
And
so he's
terrified.
Yeah, so he has to go out and kind of distract Lucifer so all the other ones can get out to the food. Yeah. And obviously he does, and they get out. And it's a fun little comedic scene for the kids. That's exactly what that's for.
And it's not, I didn't feel like it was a filler. It was part of the story, because actually really a lot of the sort of side story involves Gus
and Lucifer,
because Gus ends up after breakfast ending up underneath a teacup that was going to go to one of the stepsisters. I think it was Drizella's room. And Lucifer can see this. He's trying to catch Gus because he wants to eat him. And Cinderella's doing like a little sort of, trying to take all the kitchenware and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, right. She's got all three. She's got three trays, two in her hands and one on her head. And the whole reason why Gus is even under the cup in the first place is because he's hiding from Lucifer, because Lucifer's been trying to chase him.
Yep.
And then as they go upstairs, Lucifer tries to get him a couple times and never gets him, obviously. But it is a fun little pardon the pun, cat and mouse game that's going on throughout the movie between Gus and Lucifer.
True. It's true.
Yeah, it really, really is, and it's a neat one.
And then as soon as Cinderella drops the tray inside, I think it's Drizella's room.
Well, no. Drops off the tray for her to drink her tea.
And she drops off all the other trays. There's a scream from the bedroom. She runs into Lady Tremaine's room saying, Cinderella's put a mouse in my cup. Obviously that wasn't, Cinderella's joke. It wasn't a joke at all, but that's what Lady Tremaine thought that happened.
Hi, Harry.
And so Cinderella is going to get punished with more chores and more things. And
Yeah, the thing, well, I think Lady Tremaine knows that it wasn't on purpose. But Lady Tremaine has got a lot of jealousy towards Cinderella because she's so beautiful, she's so proper. And her daughters are very awkward and obviously spoiled. And Cinderella is the exact polar opposite of the two of them. And it even says it in the story, she's kind of jealous of that. She's, and she wants to bring her down because of it. She wants to do what she can. And that's why, after the thing with the mouse happens, she's like, well, it seems like you have a lot of time on your hands. Maybe we need to put a few more chores on you. And then she adds even more chores to Cinderella's already extremely busy day.
Yes. I remember at the end of the scene, Lady Tremaine goes, and give Lucifer a bath. And then Lucifer has the biggest shock on his face.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. And so that kind of sort of ends part one, essentially. I know it's only really about 25 minutes, but actually this film is short, but that kind of ends Act 1. And we kind of get now introduced sort of to the other characters in this movie. And that's the royals, essentially. The royals, the king of, it's somewhere in France. We don't really know.
It's just a kingdom. They don't really give us a kingdom.
Yes. It's a kingdom. So we get introduced to the king and the royal duke. And basically their idea is they want their son, aka Prince Charming, to be married.
Well, the king does. The
king wants that, yeah.
Right. Yeah, the Grand Duke is basically his right-hand man. Remember, the king even kind of explains it. Look, his wife's gone. He's got this giant castle all to himself. He's lonely. It's quiet. He wants grandchildren. He wants a family again. He wants to be able to feel that. So he's really pushing the Grand Duke because Prince Charming's coming home from where they don't really say. I don't know if he's off in a war, or if he's coming home from school or being abroad or whatever. But this is actually one of the funnier parts for me too. That, obviously the Grand Duke wants to appease the king, but the king is a little outlandish. He's a little over the top. He's a little eccentric, whatever word you want to use. And he wants his son married. He doesn't care how. He wants him married. He even says love. Who cares about love or something? I don't remember what he says. I just want I don't remember what he says. But it's actually I like this bit, Dan. What about you?
Me too. Yeah, I absolutely do. I think we do get a lot of lightheartedness in this movie, but I think the king brings a lot of that. I think having that sort of aspect, because they could have easily just given us the film about Prince Charming trying to find the princess, or similar to Sleeping Beauty. But this really is actually more the king and more of sort of his personality, and we get sort of his character. And we actually don't get introduced to the actual prince till way over halfway through the movie. Sure. Which is really surprising because, he's the prince. He's, everyone knows Prince Charming, but it's more about the king, actually. And I found that quite interesting, actually, thinking back at it now.
I agree. But again, so he's there and he says to the Grand Duke, he's like, look, what better way to welcome him back than with a party? We'll have a ball. He says, and if it just so happens that all of the most eligible ladies in the kingdom are there, so be it. Who knows? And he's like, get it, we're going to do it. Send out the invitations to all the, the single women or girls or whatever you want to call them, the maidens in the kingdom for tomorrow night or tonight or whenever we are having a ball for my son's return. And that's the cool part.
Now, are you going to attempt to sing Sweet, Sweet Nightingale, or should we just...
Sweet Nightingale.
Well, you sang it better than the Two Stepsisters. Because we get that iconic scene, which I think actually has become even more popular, weirdly, by the characters in the parks.
Hey, Matt.
I think personally that Anastasia and Drizella in the parks have really elevated that scene of Sweet Sweet Nightingale, because it's so entertaining seeing that live in front of your face. And that scene has become even more entertaining, I think, for us Disney fans who rewatch it, because of how, it's not often you see it, but I think it's something very unique, actually.
Yeah.
And then at the same time, you get Cinderella singing it beautifully downstairs, cleaning the floors.
Exactly. And again, it's one of those things where they're awkward and they're a little bit, off key, a lot off key. And it's who they are. And of course, downstairs, you're exactly right. She's cleaning the floors. She's singing the song as well. And she sings it beautifully.
Yeah. You got Anastasia, whose finger got stuck in the flute.
So many. So many. Pete McDevitt, welcome in, Pete. What's up, buddy? Welcome in. I love the music of Spinderella. Well, it's Cinderella, but thank you for bringing that up.
I think he knows that.
So Harry says this is a go, and Disney was in big financial troubles, and the release of Cinderella started to reverse their fortunes. I believe it. It's a big one.
Well, yeah.
Only the salt and pepper, Pete. Well, let's keep going. So now Cinderella's doing her work, her normal chores. And of course, one of the riders comes up with the proclamation from the king that we're having a ball for the prince tonight. All fair maidens, single fair maidens are, come to the ball. They're all invited to come. All of them, everybody. So of course, Drizella and Anastasia and Lady Tremaine are very excited. And they're like, yes, we're going. And then this is when Cinderella kind of talks up and she goes, oh, that means me too. I'm an eligible maiden. I can go. And again, this is where Lady Tremaine shows her real evil, but it's an underlying evil that, could be taken as her trying to be nice, where she's like, of course you can go. And of course, Anastasia and Drizella are really mad. She goes, you can definitely go if you're able to get all of your chores done before it's time. And Cinderella's all excited. Oh, thank you. Yes, that's fantastic. Thank you so much. And she leaves. And of course, the two stepsisters are really mad at the mom. Why would you let her do that? And she goes, I said, if.
You know what's the first thing that came to mind when she said,
if it's good.
Yeah. Because Anastasia and Drizella are paid and panic. If it's good. If it's good.
If it's good. If it's good. And then, and she kind of makes it so that it's impossible for her, because during the day, because now we see her during the day and she's getting all these extra chores. Lady Tremaine's calling her in one direction, Anastasia's calling her in another, Drizella's calling her in another.
Very deliberate
and giving her even more chores. Yes.
And at the same time,
yes.
Cinderella actually has her mother's pink dress, which is not in the best condition. It's a bit old-fashioned, but she needed to find time to make it sort of modern and new, and sort of make it look suitable.
It needed to be spruced up for sure,
but she didn't have time because she was doing all these chores.
Yep.
And then we've got this scene with the mice. Now I do want to just stop for 1 sec.
All right,
let's talk about the mice.
Okay. Before you even start your rant, please understand.
It's not a rant.
This is a cartoon, and you need to suspend disbelief a little bit. That's the whole point of a cartoon.
It's not. It's just a comparison. Okay.
Oh, okay.
It's just a comparison, because I want to talk about the mice language. Don't you think that the mice language is kind of a hybrid between English and Ewok? Yeah, let's go. Let's do this. The dress, yes. I can just see Wicket from Return of the Jedi just so fitting with the language of these mice in this movie. I just had that.
I mean, it's 1950, so I think he just tried to be extra funny with them. I guess that's why he made them speak the way they did. I mean, I understood what they were saying. It was a little bit. It was fine. I mean, I get what you're saying. I think kids are going to love it. They're going to love the way they talk. It was neat. But this is, again, you made a good point. This is where they talk about, oh, poor Cinderella, she's not going to get her dress done. And then one of the lady mice goes, we can do it. We can do it. We can do it. We can help out Cinderella. And then, of course, they start playing the song. And they start making, sprucing up her dress. But this is where it's unfortunate. But this is where the mice, I think, kind of hurt Cinderella a little bit. Lampwick Lounge welcome in because Gus and Jock have to go. The girls say, hey, leave the sewing to the women. You go get some linen or whatever they say. And so the guys do that. So they go downstairs and they hear Anastasia and Drizella talk to their mom. We got nothing to wear for tonight. I've got these old pearls. I'm not wearing these. I've got this old sash. This is a garbage. I don't want this anymore. So Gus and Jack say, oh, they think it's garbage. We're going to take it for Cinderella. Not realizing that, I know this is going to sound terrible, folks, but Anastasia and Drizella actually have a point here. It is their stuff. In all intents and purposes, it is their stuff. But Jack and Gus take the beads, they take the sash or whatever, and a couple other things, and they take it up to the...
After this big sort of cat and mouse chase with Gus and Lucy,
again.
there as well.
Yes.
And they're going through sort of the holes in the walls and all that kind of stuff. And I can understand that the film is just cutting a bit of time with this cat and mouse sort of side story, but I think it still works. It still works within the film.
Absolutely. Absolutely it works throughout the entire thing. It doesn't get overdone. It's not overbearing or
payoff in the end because of it actually works. And we'll talk about the payoff in the end with this side story. Yeah. So they end up getting these beads and they bring them up to Cinderella's dress and get it all ready. And then as soon as, Cinderella finishes her chores, she goes to Lady Tremaine. Lady Tremaine is like, are you not getting ready? Are you not coming? She goes, no, I'm not ready. I'm not done. I didn't have time. Yeah, I didn't have time. And obviously Lady Tremaine and the stepsisters, they're in on it. They're laughing. They were like, oh, yeah, no, bye, have a good time. But then obviously Cinderella goes upstairs and sees the dress complete.
Yes. And she loves it. And, you know what? Let me address this real fast. Cynthia, they used to have the mice as meet and greet at Magic Kingdom. I have a picture of my son, Walter, when he was 2 in 98. A picture with the mice back then. They used to have. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to click that. That was a thing. Jeff Condon, welcome in as well. Good to see you.
I've met the mice in Magic Kingdom. We have too. They stole my pretzel, and then they ran off. Oh, you meant the ones from the movie?
Yeah, I think so. Yep. Well, so Dan's right. So she sees her dress, she loves it, she puts it on. Lady Tremaine and Anastasia and Drizella are about to walk out the door, and Cinderella comes running down. Hey, wait for me. I'm ready. I have my dress. And, they're looking at the dress, and, Anastasia and Drizella like it. They think it looks nice. And Lady Tremaine notices the beads. And she goes, those are really nice beads you have, aren't they, Anastasia? And Anastasia realizes that's her beads. And she rips them off of Cinderella. And then Drizella says, that's my sash as well. And then they start kind of
destroying
her dress out of jealousy and anger. And I guess they have somewhat of a point at a couple of the things on there were theirs. But, they destroyed her dress. And, then they left, and Lady Tremaine kind of gives that little smirk as she's walking out the door, knowing that she's not coming. And Cinderella goes running out into the garden and is just crying her eyes out. And this is where one of the funner parts of the movie comes up for me.
And an iconic scene.
You always talk about the commercial scene. It's coming up on this one for sure. Absolutely. Harry Lovell, welcome. Good to see you, Harry. I know I didn't say it, but thanks for being here, buddy. Have a good night. I know you got to get up early. All you guys over the pond, thank you for being here. I know it's late. So Dan, let's talk about this. So she's there crying, and what happens?
We then get introduced to, out of nowhere, one of the most iconic characters in Disney history, the fairy godmother.
Absolutely.
And she's there just comforting her, just like everything will be okay, like there's nothing to worry about. And all that Cinderella wanted to do was to go to the ball. That's all she wanted to do, to find sort of love or whatever it was. And the fairy godmother is here to help, essentially. Yep. And this is that you could talk about your commercial. Whenever you watch a Disney commercial,
hi, Ali.
This is the iconic scene. Actually, to be fair, this whole film is an iconic scene. Every scene in this movie is pretty much iconic. You can see it everywhere. But
yes, Alex.
Cinderella is now going to be helped by fairy godmother.
Craig Robotic, welcome in.
And she starts singing the iconic song. Now, this song,
whatever you got,
this song is probably one of the most iconic songs of all time, because you see it in not just Disney commercials, in loads of commercials. I think, was it Louis Armstrong who did the cover for it way back when?
Oh, I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
I remember one jazz artist did cover it. I'm not sure. It wasn't Frank Sinatra. It might have been Louis Armstrong. I can't remember. But the fairy godmother is singing while changing the people, the creatures around Cinderella into a horse and carriage. So firstly, she changes a pumpkin into
a carriage.
She turns the mice into horses.
Yeah.
He turns the horse
into the
horseman, or the
driver,
and turns Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno. Into the sort of
he's a footman. Yeah, he's the footman. The Bruno is the dog, by the way, and he's your lovable dog. I love Bruno. Actually, I think he's a ton of fun. Even though we don't talk about him, I do think he's a ton.
We haven't really spoken about Bruno.
So Cinderella has now, the fairy godmother gave her a footman, a driver, horses, a carriage, and she goes, "Okay, it's time. Off to the ball." And she's like, and she goes, "Oh my gosh, look at your dress." And then that's when she does the commercial iconic scene where she changes the dress into Cinderella's beautiful dress.
Yep.
And you see the spinning, and then the dress automatically just appears.
The animation is
for 1950. It's really good. I agree. I think if you're back in 1950 watching this for the first time, I think it's an actual really good scene.
I mean, kudos to the animator who drew that entire cell, all those cells that he had to put together to create such an iconic scene. And she said that go have a great time, but there's one caveat. At the stroke of midnight, the magic wears off, and you'll go back to
everything goes back
as it was. Okay.
Yeah, and she said, look, this whole thing is based around dreams, and she said it's like because Cinderella even says this seems like a dream, and she goes, well, just like any dream, it will come to an end at midnight. So
I think Saya actually brings up a really good point. She says that the dress is so iconic, a lot of brides to refer to the ball gown as Cinderella style dress. It's more popular than and actually,
absolutely,
you know what? We'll talk about it at the end of the movie, but this character, obviously Snow White was the first Disney princess, but when you think princess, not just Disney, but when you think princess, the first character that comes to most people's minds is Cinderella. Cinderella is the princess of everything.
Agreed. What's up, John Hazelton? Welcome and good to see you as well. Well, I think what happened was you don't see Snow White in that manner. And remember, this is like almost 20 years after Snow White. She was 1930 something. But I agree with you. I think when you think princess, most people will think Cinderella first.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Cinderella style. I mean, but Jeff's right too. It's going to be a lot of money for Cinderella. But off she goes. She goes to the ball, and I like this. Next scene. I think this one, because she goes while she's coming to the ball, all of the eligible maidens are being introduced to the Prince Charming, and they're all coming up and they're being introduced and their names being called, and he goes and he bows to them all, and he's kind of getting bored with it. He's like, but the dad wants him to continue. He's hoping he's going to find a wife, and while he's doing that, Cinderella is showing up to the ball. And then this was a neat twist for me. I really like this. As she's coming in, all the knights are standing there, or guards are standing there. And as she walks by them, they look, and they're like, wow. That's how I took it anyway. I took it as, normally the guards are going to look straight ahead, but with her, they're like, they couldn't help it. They couldn't take their eyes off of her. All of them turned their eyes to look at her. I like that.
What you needed was like, what's that song where it goes, wah, 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 wah. I
don't think it existed yet.
Yeah. So it's really funny because when Cinderella's walking down the hall, in the sort of the background, you got the Duke and the King who are talking to each other, and you have the Duke sort of describing what Prince Charming should be doing, and then Prince Charming actually does it.
Well, yeah, it's because the King's like, yeah, I want him to fall in love tonight, and then the Duke's like, yeah, oh yeah, so you want him to look across a crowded room and spot her far off in the distance, and just ignore everybody and run off over to her and just dance the night away, and that's exactly what happens.
It's great.
Yeah, you're right. I think it really is great.
It's such good humor.
It really is good humor. He's making fun of it, and then that's exactly what happens. Yeah.
And everyone's trying to figure out who is she, what's going on, and Lady Tremaine is like, I swear I've seen this person before. Everyone's sort of like, who is this person? And just before Lady Tremaine actually gets a look, the curtain's shut. Yeah,
they close the curtains. And then that's where, the rest, and then for like the next 5 minutes, they kind of see Prince Charming's talking to Cinderella, and they're talking and they're dancing. And that's when So This Is Love, that song comes on. And then, they're getting to know each other, and he wants to go to kiss her. And then that's when the clock strikes midnight. And that's when Cinderella remembers, oh my gosh, I have to leave. And so she says, I'm sorry, I have to go. And then I really like this line. I like when she goes, I didn't even get to meet the prince, but I've got to go, or whatever she says. And he's like, wait, you don't know? And she just keeps going, and he tries to chase after her. And of course, it's the big scene where the slipper falls, the glass slipper falls off, or ruby slipper.
The prince is like, I don't even know your name.
Yeah, I don't
even know your name. And I'm just like, to be fair, if this was modern day, like, to go that many hours without saying their name was a bit.
Exactly.
But you just got to go with it. You got to go with
it. But so she runs off. She loses the shoe. She tries to go back for it. He's coming, but she doesn't stop for it. So she leaves, gets in the horses, and then they have a little bit of a chase scene, which is actually kind of a cool scene. I like the horses that came after her. And then it strikes midnight, and everybody turns back to a pumpkin.
Well, you say that, but Sai makes a good point. She says, again, it's always midnight, and I find it hilarious that she made it halfway to her house before 12 strokes of the clock. How did that happen?
Well, it's an animated movie that has mice that talk and has a fairy godmother. So we got to kind of give a little bit of disbelief.
And polka dot and striped elephants that shapeshift as well.
Exactly. Ian Cobb, welcome in. Good to see you. But I don't know. I like this part. And then, of course, that's it.
She finds out that she still has one of the glass slippers.
Yes. That's the one thing that the fairy godmother let her have. She let her keep one of the glass slippers. Now, you don't really get into whether or not she did it on purpose because she knew this was going to happen, or if she just did it as a way of her remembering. But the next morning, wakes up all night long. The Duke has been trying to tell the king what happened. He finally goes in and tells the king what happened. And that whole scene is funny as anything.
Sabotage!
It's just funny. And then he finally says, look, we have the glass slipper. He says, take out a proclamation, go around to every house and find the maiden. He goes, but sir, this shoe could fit anybody. He goes, that's his problem. Just find somebody that it fits.
I love how the king is so ruthlessly aggressive with his sword. He's just like,
oh, yeah, he is.
Oh, that's great.
But I love it when he says, but sir, the shoe could fit anybody. He goes, that's his problem. Just give me somebody.
Talk about desperate.
Yeah, he's just desperate. He wants grandkids. So the Duke goes around the kingdom, and then that's when they find out that he's coming. And then, Cinderella comes into the room as Lady Germain's telling the stepsisters that the Duke's coming, and that's when she finds out that who she was with last night was actually the prince the whole time.
She kind of knew straight away for how Cinderella was acting.
Yes. Well, Cinderella finds out that that's who she was with, because she didn't realize that was the prince. But then when she hears Lady Tremaine talking to the stepsisters, she's like, "Oh my God!" And she drops everything, and then she's like, kind of in a daze. She's in
like a trance, yeah.
But at least for me, Lady Tremaine doesn't realize it's Cinderella until she starts humming the song from the night before, and that's when it kind of hits her. And then Cinderella goes upstairs to get ready. And what does Lady Tremaine do?
She walks up the stairs in that menacing sort of way, takes out a key, and locks her in her room. And she basically just wants to leave her in there until the Grand Duke comes and leaves. Yep.
And then that's when they get into the whole, he comes in and he tries the shoes on Anastasia. He tries them on Drizella.
And then we've got Jack and Gus in Mission Impossible 12.
Bum, 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 doo.
I tell you what, I was so signed up for a Jack and Gus in a Mission Impossible movie.
That would be fun.
Because they managed to, after a bit more cat and mousing, with the key, with Lucifer, managed to get the key out of Lady Tremaine's pocket and bring it up 100 flights of stairs
in 10 minutes. And they do it. And they do it.
Well, they do. Just because obviously Lucifer is there, right at the top of the stairs. And then we finally get to talk about Bruno, because Cinderella calls the birds to go and get Bruno, the dog, to chase out Lucifer so they can get the key, open the door, and go from there.
Yep. And Lucifer falls to his death out the window. Of course, he's got 9 lives, so now he's down to 8. No, but anyway, so yes, she gets out and she comes downstairs. And just as the Grand Duke's leaving, she goes, wait, don't forget about me. And of course, Lady Tremaine's kind of upset. She goes, just ignore her. She's nobody. And he goes, no, I've got to test it on everybody. So he sits Cinderella down. The footman is coming, running with the shoe. And Lady Tremaine, one last act of defiance and cruelty, trips him. And the shoe falls off and it breaks. And the Grand Duke is so upset. And of course, Lady Tremaine's got that smirk on her face. And he's like, oh my God, this is horrible. What am I ever going to do? And Cinderella goes, well, that's okay. I have the other one. And then
I love the fact they still try it on, even though she's got the other one.
Well, it's apropos to the. He's got to be.
No, I know.
He's got to be sure. She could have stole it. Not that she would, but he don't know.
Yeah.
That. So, but the look on Lady Tremaine's face is like, it's over. She basically to look like I lost. And she tries on the slipper, and it fits perfectly, and
she gets married happily ever after.
That's it. It's happily ever after. And there you go. We took a little longer than I actually thought we were going to on this movie, because it's not a long movie.
I think it's also very important that we do very quickly touch upon how important this movie was.
Oh, I think everybody in the chat made a very good point. It was a turning point for Disney. Look, Snow White was such a huge impact for Disney itself. Disney as a company probably wouldn't have been wouldn't be around today if Snow White wasn't immensely popular. But they did hit another lull from Snow White to Cinderella, and then Cinderella really turned things around. Moving forward, I think it made its big impact on it.
I think with this film, like, you could talk about every part of this film and how it's impacted sort of modern culture. The sort of the definition of what a princess should be, what sort of how it's affected sort of, like we talked about, the wedding business or the music business or whatever it is. Like, this film is iconic, and you can clearly tell that when you go to somewhere like Walt Disney World, where they've named the castle after this princess.
Yeah.
Right? The castle itself is Cinderella Castle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Inside you got inside the tapestry. Inside you got the mosaic of the story. you can meet Cinderella. She's in pretty much all the parades. She
Oh,
is
highly popular.
iconic, right? You know, before the popularity of Anna and Elsa and Moana and Mirabelle from Encanto, you could arguably say that Cinderella is the most popular princess. You still have characters like Belle, Jasmine, Ariel, but when you like again that instant sort of click when you say princess, Cinderella is probably what comes to mind first with most people, and it's an iconic character in movie history.
Yep. JD Coons, thank you for that. Just got a PayPal from him. That was very nice of him.
Oh.
You know, I agree, but I think Cinderella is very, very prominent in the parks. From time to time, you can get the picture in front of her carriage as well. Obviously, the castle is there, but no rides or attractions are really based off of Cinderella. Fairy Godmother will come out from time to time as well, which I think is great. But I think she is definitely represented in the parks. Don't get me wrong. I think she definitely is.
Yeah.
And this is great. So, Dan, let's get into that part now, guys, because I know we're running late. I don't want to go too much over. We'll probably go over a little bit, but we're going to talk about our letter grades now. This is what we do. We give a letter grade. We'll kind of break down the movie, what we like, what we didn't like, maybe give a favorite character and favorite scene, and then we'll give our letter grades. And then Dan will go first. Then we'll talk to me. I'll go next, and then we'll see what you guys did in the chat. We go A to F. Oh, A plus to F. We've given both. In the chat, I want to know what your grades are. Not just give me a letter grade now. Let us know why you gave that letter grade as well. And we'll go over you guys last. And then we'll do our draw for next week. So, Dan?
Yep, absolutely.
Join you, buddy. What do you think of this one?
Okay, so I think you can safely say that this film is, you could put it in the top 10, top 30, top 50 greatest animated films of all time. Just because of how important it was for movie history. The music is fantastic. The story, yes, it has pitfalls. It has, areas which are not explained. You just have to sort of go with it. Does that tarnish the film? Not particularly. I think what's important about this film is that it does impact modern culture. And it has pretty much it saved Disney from that wartime era after World War II. The characters are fantastic. The underlying story with Jack, Gus, and Lucifer is great. I think Lady Tremaine, simple but a fantastic villain, because she doesn't have those magic powers. She doesn't have an iconic song. She just is ruthless. And Cinderella actually has some character. She's not a bland character at all. She actually has sort of a dream and that kind of thing. I'll just quickly say my favorite scene, probably, I don't know, probably anything with Gus, probably, or anything with the king. I really enjoy the king scenes. And I'll say favorite character. I think my favorite character has to be Lady Tremaine, just because of how well she was written and how well she is such a villainous character. In terms of my grade, I'm going to give this film, I've been going back and forth all night. I'm going to give it an A minus. Near to a B plus, but I think I'm going to give it a little bit of a boost to it, A minus. There are flaws in the film. It's not a perfect film, but I think the sort of the legacy of the film and the importance of the film outweighs the bad things. The only thing that I really wanted to know was what were the comeuppance for Lady Tremaine, similar to what happened with Cruella and Jasper and Horace from our 101 Dalmatians review a couple of weeks ago. I just wanted to know what sort of happened to Lady Tremaine and the stepsisters. The only sort of big issue I really had with the movie. But apart from that, really enjoyed the movie. Definitely I'll rewatch it again. So I'll give it an A minus.
Very nice. Very nice. So for me, I think this film is definitely a classic. The songs are classic songs that are just iconic and timeless, to be honest with you. The scenes are amazing. The animation is really good for its time. I love the characters. So many great songs, so many great characters, a great villain, a great story. It really does tell a great story, but doesn't overdo it. It gets it told in a good amount of time. They don't draw this out into a 2-hour movie. There's no need for it. The side characters are great. I love it. I think this film is definitely a classic. I just love everything about it. I mean, even the end when Gus and Jack are trying to bring her the key, I still to this day still get a little tense of, oh my God, is she going to make it in time to get downstairs to win? Even though I've seen it 1,000 times, it still hits home for me. I really enjoy this a lot. I love look, you guys know me. If you know me, I go to movies to see the happily ever after. I want the good guy to win. I want him to ride off into the sunset. I want that. That's what I want. So this movie brings that tenfold. I love it. My favorite scene is probably the fairy godmother scene where she saves her and brings her and gets her the dress and everything. I think that's probably my favorite scene. My favorite character is probably going to be the king or Cinderella. I love Cinderella's character in this movie. I think she does great. My grade is very, very close to Daniel's. I'm giving it an A. I think it's very iconic. I could watch it all the time. I love the characters in it, and I think it's absolutely fantastic. So there you go.
I think we should also, I don't know if you've seen this, but I also want to give a special mention to Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time.
Yeah, there's actually 2 sequels to this, which I think is unbelievable.
But I think what's special about Cinderella 3, A Twist in Time, it's a straight to DVD, straight to home cinema movie that is really good. It's really, really, really good. It's not as good as the original, obviously.
Right.
But I would put it up there as one of the best Disney animated sequels, Cinderella 3.
Let me say hi to Hatbox Ghost. Welcome in. And Rachel Fithian. I haven't seen Rachel in a while.
Hey,
Rachel, good to see you.
Right. Shall I go through some comments? I'll start off with Candy Mum right at the top.
Yep, right there.
She says, A+, a dream is a wish your heart makes is one of my favorite top quotes of all song, like all above. Yes, absolutely. Sigh says, I would say A- because the film is iconic in many ways. It really paved the way for a lot of Disney films. When you name a Disney princess, Cinderella is the top 3. Most will say to be TBC. Yes, absolutely agree. Hannah says it's an A- for me. The film is hugely iconic and captured the true meaning of a fairy tale. It's one of my favorite Disney movies, and the animation holds up to this day. Absolutely. Alex Connect gives it a perfect A+. The colors, the simplistic story, the art, the music, the Disney's revival. And my wife will kill me if I rate it anything less. Will Lover says A+, truly iconic movie. Animation holds up. Great music. Gave us a great restaurant after it was ruthlessly stolen from King Stephen. Follows a theme stretching back to 2,000 years. Khan's wife hates mice. Let's move on to Kay Atwood. She says an A. It is one of the first princess movies I saw. I think it created my love for shoes.
Sorry.
That's right. No, I'm reading it from my chat, so don't worry. Debbie Burnfeld, A+. This is so iconic film. The music and the artistry was on point at the time this movie was made. Also, this movie was a platform for all the other wonderful Disney movies that came after that. Absolutely. J.D. Kuntz says A+, a Disney classic fairy tale. Love the music. Jeff Condon says it would be an A+, but as the father of 2 girls, I'm concerned about the impact the film had on their wedding plans. #my wallet, or brackets, my wallet. Rachel gives it an A+. Anyone else?
Evan Hudden, welcome in. Good to see you, Evan. Good to have you here. I think that's it.
There we go.
Yeah, I just want to say I think it's absolutely fantastic. I want to say you don't get too many A's on here, but I think that's great. Don't forget, guys, we did have a sponsor this week. Do we want to go over the sponsor again, Dan, before we head out?
Just a couple more reviews. Firstly,
did we?
Melissa says, I'm late, but I actually think that's a song from Alice in Wonderland, not Cinderella.
Thanks, Melissa.
And B, Matt says B, don't know why, but I'm feeling like I'm in a B mood today.
Oh,
no, it's better than being an F mood, so.
That's true.
But yes, I think our sponsor would like one more shout out.
All right. So again, everybody, we want to thank our sponsor for tonight's show. It is none other than Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash. Need help with your next party or event? Then call the Planny Parters at Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash. Wait, you don't know about Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash?
Nope.
Well, then listen to this. You're planning a bash, but short on the cash, call Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash. We'll help with your needs. We'll be happy indeed. Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash. Our service will be just right, but the party must end by midnight. You need someone today? Well, help's on the way. Call Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash. Oh, you're planning a bash, but short on the cash. Call Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash. We'll help with your needs. You'll be happy indeed. Bibbidi Bobbidi Bash.
Yay!
www.bibbidibobbidibash.com. Plan your event today.
Can I just say, the sponsor of next week's show, you got a lot to live up to after this one. Because they killed it.
All right, so here we go, guys. We have come to that moment. I hope you guys love the sponsors. I think it's a new added element to this show that I think just is really, really fun.
Yeah, we love it.
We're doing now.
All
right, Daniel, it's time for the pool, everybody. Here we go.
We need the drum rolls in the chat. Remember, next week's movie will be on my channel.
Dan's channel, guys. So yes, please. Subscribe to Dan if you haven't already. You do not want to miss. It'll be 5 weeks in a row, too.
I know.
Oh, wait. Before you pull one out, we've done a lot of animation. I think we are going to pull a Pixar on this one. I don't know. I just got the feeling it's going to be a Pixar.
I got the feeling. I've got the one. Ooh. Okay.
No, you should not, Cynthia. You keep that.
Oh, gosh. Right, here we go. Next week's movie is a modern one.
Oh, really?
I kid you not. It has been released this year.
Really? Encanto?
No. It's going to get wacky. It's going to get weird. It is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness.
Oh, I got a lot to say about that movie.
Oh, I am so looking forward to this. I haven't seen it since I saw it in the movie theater. By the way, because this is a relatively new movie, a Marvel movie, next week's episode will be full of spoilers. So if you're not caught up or up to date, it's either come back and watch it another time, put it in your save later list, or catch up on the Marvel Cinematic Universe in the space of a week, because it is going to be a very spoiler heavy from as soon as we start the show next week. Because it's going to be a big one. So I think that's right to say, isn't it? Because it's going to be spoiler filled. Spoiler filled.
So there you go. Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness. Before we head out, guys, I want to say a quick thank you. Thank you to Cynthia.
Matt says finally a dude movie.
I know,
hey,
right?
Cinderella is a dude movie. I like it.
But thank you to Cynthia for the super chat. Thank you to JD Kuntz for the PayPal. That was very generous of both of you. Thank you for that, guys. Let's do some quick mousekeeping. Of course, Dean at the Live Place. Check them out, theliveplace.com for family-friendly streams. Check out Magic of the Mouse Radio. Our 4 partner channels. This guy right here, Disney Dan. Remember, next Wednesday's on his channel. So if you haven't already subscribed, mods, if you could put his link to Dan's channel in the chat, please go over and subscribe to Dan for next week's show. We're going to have a great time. I can't wait. It's going to be 5 p.m. again next Wednesday. Be sure to check out Steve's World, Disney Dan, and Pete McDevitt as well. All partner channels. Mods, if you could also put their links in the chat, I'd appreciate it. For us, guys, don't forget, we have Instagram, we have Facebook, we have Twitter, we have TikTok. Please check us out on all of our social media. Mods, also, if you could share that, I'd appreciate it. Just share that out for everybody. I'm sure most of you are already there, but just in case you haven't. Members, thank you to all of the members for your extra generosity and loyalty. I can't talk tonight. I say royalty, but I guess it's kind of. But thank you for that. You guys are amazing. You're wonderful. Thank you to all the subscribers. My mods are amazing. Mods do such a great job. And we're honored and blessed to be here each week and do this. Dan, what's coming up for you? Anything coming up on Dan's channel other than next Wednesday?
We might have another stream on Saturday. And it's called Revenge of the Moth. No, I'm kidding. By the way, if you haven't checked out my stream from last Saturday with this guy.
Yeah, that was funny. Go check it out.
I got attacked by 2 moths while ranking every Disney World attraction. And if you want to see me, a man who's got a very low voice, scream in a soprano sort of high level, go watch it. It was very entertaining.
Yeah, it was something else.
But I will hopefully be doing another stream on Saturday, because on Saturday will be 125 days till we're in Disney.
Woohoo!
And being that, we're all Disney experts here, being that, I was a former cast member and I planned trips, the person behind this wall has never been. Okay? Hannah has never been. And we're going to do a stream of what would you personally do if you were bringing a first timer, right? What's one thing or a couple of things you would do for a first timer to come to Disney? So it's going to be an open forum. If anybody would like to join the stream, please feel free to let me know, and I'll happily invite you guys onto the stream. But that's what's going to happen. So if you would like to do that, hey Nick. So if you would like to do that, that'd be fun. But that's going to be the stream.
Nice.
On
Good night, Jeff. Thanks for being here. Yes, guys, this Saturday, right?
This Saturday.
Yes, this Saturday. Dan's channel, 7 p.m. Eastern time. You do not want to miss that. Nope. Other than that, for us, we have a lot of streams coming up starting Friday. Friday night, we will be at the first Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween party. We are dressing up. Melissa and I have our costumes, so be sure to tune in so you can see who we're going to be dressed up as.
You are telling me off stream who you're going as.
All right, I'll tell you. And then Saturday evening, we're going to be at Animal Kingdom. Sunday morning, we'll be at Magic Kingdom. And then Monday night late. So I know you guys over the pond probably won't be able to watch, but we're going to be at a special Moonlight Magic event at Typhoon Lagoon. So
I'll be waking up when you finish the stream.
Yeah, probably. So it's going to be a big weekend of streams. Other than that, guys, thank you all for being here. Thank you again. You guys are fantastic. Next Wednesday, 5 p.m., Dan's channel. Dan on Saturday as well. Until then, take care of yourselves and each other, and for the good of all three. Good night, everybody. Bye.
I'm sweating. Hey, click the wrong button. Oh, wait, we're still not out, by the way. So he's going to come back in a minute and end the streams.
I did it wrong. I hit leave studio at the.
How long have you been doing this?
I was falling on my chair.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.